You are released, for now. But no more ranting in anger towards the Sonic franchise.
Oh yeah? Well, you can't stop us giving a beating to all the upcoming Sonic projects like...
Whatever. And try not to mention about Green Hill Zone anymore, please. You're just asking for trouble with that one.
And good riddance.
Well, I best be off. But I can't help but notice you guys seem a bit down. I recently started a YouTube channel with my friend Aaron, Sonic Innovation, to bring some much-needed positivity. It's time we all cheer up about our favorite series, wouldn't you agree? Please look us up if you ever need a pick-me-up. Well, see you guys later.
Look, remember when we started Dissected with the intent to be the positive Sonic reviewers? And then the Sonic meta self-aware comedy age got in full swing and beat that optimism out of me? Good times. So, did something happen in the months we were in jail? Alright, I think the audio is working and we're on. Welcome everyone to the latest Dissected discussion or something. If it sounded a bit weird, I have a bit of a cold. Or a much more horrible disease!
Well, now let's finally talk about something that isn't Sonic. Did you know Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was announced? Awesome, I can't wait for it.
Isn't that a prequel to Breath of the Wild? Great. So all the effort of beating the new game is just for every main character to get killed or sidelined? So that Breath of the Wild's plank of wood guy get all the magic equipment to resolve the entire situation by himself? You fought all those epic battles to save the day? Well, too bad. You're not super special Mary Sue Man, so piss off and die in a ditch somewhere.
Wow. Cynical little git, aren't you?
Guys, did you hear about the new upcoming Sonic encyclopedia? Oh, sorry, I mean encyclopedia.
And back to Sonic again. Whoopee. Just please piss off, Captain Theory.
That's right, Luke. We'll get to witness Ian Flynn's attempts to make sense of the entire Sonic franchise. He'll write a book to document the entirety of Sonic's history and world. This will be a spectacle to behold.
I kinda secretly wish it was Pontic and Graf writing it. If only to see those clowns struggle to say anything meaningful about the franchise.
Did Silver and Blaze ever meet? Is this whole two worlds thing with a human world and an anthro world still relevant, and how does it fit? Are humans even still canon? Is Classic Sonic the past version of Sonic or from an alternate dimension? And why is Zavok suddenly best buddies with Eggman? The answer to all these questions and more will finally be revealed.
And I'm sure the answer will be very, non-existent. I'm pretty sure they'll sidestep all the wishy-washy Schrödinger's cat stuff and only fill the whole book with obvious, boring stuff. Did you guys know Sonic loves chili dogs? Whoa! Hardcore Sonic trivia right here, folks.
Well, it'll be an interesting read nonetheless. It'd be nice to have a new Sonic Bible to hold against future Sonic writing.
Indeed. I'll immediately buy a priest robe from eBay. As soon as the next Sonic game is out and contradicts the Bible, I'll give 'em what for. Has the Holy Book not said, Sonic shall never cometh from an alternate dimensioneth? Has the Holy Book not saith, Lazy Blazeth shall not have leave of her soul dimensioneth? The wrath of the God shall purge the earth to damnation for the sins of Pontac and Graffeth, for sullying the holy word of Saint Flynn the Third. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger. Oh no, wait, that was Pulp Fiction.
Guess we'll buy that book like the nice little brain-dead fans that we are.
Indeed. Now go fetch that book, Captain, and leave us. I want to talk about Zelda.
No, there's more Sonic to discuss. It's Sage's 20th anniversary, the Sonic Fan Game Convention. By lack of official games, we should take a look at what the fans have created.
Sounds great. Let's see what amazing creative new worlds they have in store for us. Green Hills.
Thanks again, Captain Theory.
You're welcome, Luke.
Anyway, I split the games up in two categories. The motherlode of the games trying to be the next big main Sonic game in style, and the spin-off category where the games just do their own thing in their own little pocket dimension. This video is going to be about the second. And let's begin our discussion about this Sonic Fan Game Convention by talking about the non-Sonic fan games. For Luke's sake, and my own sake, to delay the onslaught of Green Hill Zone.
Right, so let's go to bat for the underdog first and highlight some spin-off and indie games. First keep in mind we haven't played all of the games, because there is a lot of them. A lot of them.
Yeah. So let's go into it then, I suppose. First, the non-Sonic stuff. You know, every year when I see all these Sonic fan games, I can't help but think, man, why aren't there so many games of other franchises? We could have had a Mega Man Legends 3 by now. And there actually kind of are. Last year we saw Mega Man Legends 1.5, sadly missing this year. Looking pretty good, although wasn't sure about the complex lighting and 3D effects. Kind of interferes with the cel-shaded anime look of the original. But very impressive and awesome. And I hope it's still in development somewhere. But this year we got Delta Girl, which fully embraces the PlayStation 1 style graphics of the original, but being its own thing. I love the look, I really dig the graphic style. I love it when the textures are more retro style, get the whole you're walking to a 3D drawing or painting idea across.
Not to mention, for the lone programmer working with a low budget, it's easier to get a solid art style this way than trying to compete with big budget game graphics and falling face first into Uncanny Valley.
The game is extremely Nintendo-ish for me, though. As in, the original Mega Man Legends has a more relaxed attitude. It's challenging, but only challenging in specific moments. Most of the general gameplay is just you exploring and preparing. This one, though, doesn't like to waste any game real estate at all. Every square inch has platform challenges, death bits, enemies, boss fights. It's unrelenting, and this gives it really a different vibe than Legends had.
Well, it isn't Mega Man Legends exactly. It wants to be its own thing.
Fair enough. Just saying. I'm interested in the game, although it is very close to getting towards my pain tolerance in games. I mean, heck, the tutorial area where you learn a new move, the hookshot, immediately wants you to do it in midair and twice in a row, with a death bit immediately in the room after. This game has no patience. It's straight up NES level full-blown challenge. And considering the keyboard and mouse controls can be awkward, and using the hookshot requires you to contort your hands quite a bit, whew, it's quite intense. But yeah, so those who wanted Mega Man Legends to be a little closer in style of the original 2D Mega Man games on the NES, I guess this is the perfect game for you. Because it does seem to kind of exist kind of right in the middle between those two styles.
It just gives me a headache, though. Looks too happy and simple for my taste. With the non-Sonic indie games, there's a ton that want to combine Mega Man-style gameplay with little RPG elements like story, towns, Brock the Croc, Teek's Tall Tale, Havoc Fox, Poppin' and Juper, Verdilla, The Sacred Forest, Fred Venture, Starbuster, the list goes on.
Yes, it does seem to be a very popular genre. Kinda reminds me of Shantae, which is also occasionally an indie game.
And Freedom Planet, the motherlode of the game genre. As much as all the Sonic fan games are chasing after Sonic 2 or a physics simulator style thing, most non-Sonic games seem to go for some kind of perfect 2D Mega Man Zero-ish RPG blend kind of thing.
My favourite of them all is Dunker, a badass, badger, bear, warrior in a castle town under siege. Everyone has fallen, the remaining soldiers wounded and terrified, and only the mighty Dunker ready to rain some mighty justice upon his opponents. Attacking enemies feels powerful and satisfying, and the graphics are great. It's like if Redwall had a Super Nintendo action game. It's only one level now, but I'm looking forward to more.
More importantly, it's also playable for Sonic Roller Blast 2 kart. Ah, look at how adorable he looks in his little kart.
Do you have to bloody ruin everything? Yeah, Dunker. Check it out. The boss is hard as balls, though.
But yeah, for those kinds of games, the Mega Man imitators, I kind of like Brock the Crocodile a lot for some reason, but I'm not sure why that one stands out. I think it's partly the energy of the cutscenes a lot. With all the others, everyone's just standing around like a sack of potatoes through the plot exposition or quirky characteristics of the characters. But here it's full on pandemonium with characters running around and spaceships crashing down. It's the simple things that make it all worthwhile. And as much as I hate to admit that the mere style of cutscene presentation has such a big impact on how I perceive a game, it does immediately create an engagement in the player, I guess. For me, anyway. But yeah, Brock the Crocodile's a lot of fun. Can't really say anything specific about it. It just amuses me. And Starbuster looks great. I wish I could play it, but my antivirus program was particularly aggressive with that one. Hey, can someone make an indie game where you can get to beat up the developers of an antivirus software program? That would be great.
There's also this game, Demon Legend. Demonic forces have taken over the world, and the only humans left of the onslaught of destruction is a tiny village of medieval ninjas, despite the game taking place in modern times. Medieval Japan is just that awesome.
It's even got this nifty intro cutscene. And look, a three-tailed fox. Family of yours, Luke?
I wish. Yeah, we get a badass intro cutscene where the Demon King awakens and declares his hatred for asphalt as he crushes that road into oblivion. Yeah, take that, you petulant little driveway! Face the wrath of the Demon King! Anyway, the hero reminds me of Simon Belmont from Castlevania, but with a sword.
I love how he just casually swings his sword left and right while you attack while walking. I almost want to animate a whole cartoon of him just saving the world by walking like that all the time. Casually swinging his sword around, all the demons just walking right into it.
Actually, it seems the enemies of this game really are just suicidal. It's fun to watch them run headfirst into a pit.
The enemies are amazing. Japanese folklore creatures straight out of a mystical ninja game. Evil spiders that remind me of Chakan the Forever Man. Those flying demonic heads that remind me of a Castlevania game.
Those constant references of yours that remind me of Family Guy.
Shut up, Rog. And you play as this badass lady that has an epic bird with her. It's pretty good stuff.
But here's something I don't get. Demons took over the human world, so it's humans versus demons. Yet there's a lot of demons in town being helpful, or at the very least neutral, and there's several enemies that seem human. It's a little strange to me.
Yeah, but for those not overthinking things and obsessing over pointless theories, this badass ninja adventure is the game for you. So remember that name, Demon Legend.
The Legend of Demon, Ocarina of Time. Wouldn't that be fun? A Legend of Zelda game, but replace Zelda with a demon. Would go into a shouting match with Ganon. Good stuff. Anyway, my absolute favorite of all the indie games this year is, weirdly enough, Aerial Guard. Simple arcade game, flying a plane, shooting stuff, scoring points. Easy, straightforward, and I love it.
Oh man, I loved Aerial Guard. I would totally love to see a full version of that. It's so short, but it's so addicting.
Kinda cool how it even adds elements that don't seem to fit an arcade flight game. Those boost pads as if it's a racing game or the plane having a sword. Would think it's completely out of place in this game, but weirdly it works. It fits right into that arcade mentality of destruction and gathering points. But yeah, I love this stuff. Demo is super short, so I hope we see more in the future. And now I'm kind of reminded of XF Drive, a similar kind of arcade game from last year, but with driving a car, from Lake Fepard. Kind of too bad that game didn't return this year. I wonder if it's still under development.
Probably not. Isn't Fepard working on Spark 3 now?
Oh, right. Well, rest in peace XF Drive. Although at least that game had enough content that it works more or less as a complete, if short, product. 4 racetracks, which kind of reminds me of most arcade games in the 90s that only have 4 levels or so. So that just makes it fit more with the others, I guess.
Oh, so it's okay for you to be constantly reminded of other games now, huh?
And speaking of retro arcade racing games, there's Victory Heat Rally. It has very colorful graphics and simple yet difficult racing. It's inspired by a classic Sega arcade game called Power Drift, which used sequences of 2D sprites to make 3D tracks, which is incredibly clever, but definitely has its downsides, as the tracks look weird from any other angle. A problem definitely carried over to this game.
Although I love the general art style, this very early fake 3D graphics kind of gives me a headache. And I don't know, I just don't get really a feel of the game. I always just keep crashing, and just like the original Power Drift. It's like the racetracks are too narrow for me or something. I don't know, it doesn't feel right.
It is awesome the game has a Sonic Drift Racing Easter egg in it, though. Didn't expect that. You have to be very good at playing the game to unlock it, however.
With the symbolic representation of Green Hills and us the bad guy. Outclass Hunter. This was disappointing. I wanted to love this game. It kind of Sonic Robo Blast-ish, it seems. With the very colorful graphics and a 2D sprite character, but more with a Rocket Knight kind of direction. Sparks the Rocket Knight from the Sega Genesis. For some reason, this game has very extensive graphical effects. It's kind of pointless since you have a little pixel guy as playable character and it looks very cartoony. So I don't think that the people who usually care for super realistic graphics really care for this game to begin with. So I'm not sure if there's really much of a point in throwing lots of bells and whistles of graphical effects on top of this with reflecting metal effects and fog effects and all that. It just makes my computer run this game terribly. It also has the problem that the level design doesn't really complement the character. Lots of precision jumping while the character is super fast, and his rocket only shoots you downwards, not upwards, which makes it kind of pointless in this game. It's too bad. I really wanted to love this, but it's really just kind of irritating, sadly.
Although I'll keep checking for updates because I think this game really has a lot of potential. It looks a lot of fun, despite everything.
Poppin' Yupa Pocket Adventure. I wish I had more to say about it. It's a decent and fun game, but I just wanted to highlight it a bit since this is the first time I've seen a retro game emulate the art style of the Game Boy Color era. I rarely see that. It's always the NES or the Sega Genesis or something. I have a soft spot for Game Boy Color era graphics, still 8-bit-ish, but with way more smooth animation and richer color palette than anything that came before. So it feels to me like the ultimate form of 8-bit graphics. So seeing it recreated to a degree in this game is neat. Well, unless they were going for a Neo Geo Pocket style graphics. Although then again, that's pretty close to the Game Boy Color era anyway.
Now here's a weird one. Whiskers and Wags Cleaning Company. You play as a sexy French maid cat cleaning a house, as it plays like a beat-em-up. Violently beat down every dusty piece of furniture that's in your way, but beware of the demonic dust bunnies and other monsters you might unleash. Satisfying combat, cool moves, what more do you want?
Gotta love how flirty the French maid is too.
Fetish material for sure, not that I'm complaining of course. Wasn't there another cleaning game like this as well, but as a shooter game?
Yeah, Viscera Cleanup Detail? Weird name for a game, but yeah, first-person shooter where you clean up the aftermath of what would have been a normal shooter level. Awesome idea, but the levels go on for an hour, and that's a little too much for me. It's a funny idea, but the gameplay, you have to search for every single piece of scrap in a giant level. Is not really my kind of thing.
You don't always have to finish it 100% though, and it's way more fun with friends. But yeah, I suppose Whiskers and Wags is way more fast-paced. They say you can also play as her partner, who's the garbage man.
Yeah, but I don't know how to select him though. Can only hug or kiss him. Oh well. But yeah, pretty awesome. Love it. Simple idea, but sometimes simple ideas are awesome.
Anyway, let's move on to the main event, the Sonic games.
Right, sticking with this video's theme, I'm gonna ignore all the fan games attempting to be a main game type of experience, the Sonic 2 or Sonic 3D with classic physics showstoppers, but for this video, focus on the weird spin-off games that exist in their own little dimension.
Yeah, there are some unique Sonic games with their own style that definitely deserve their own highlight.
Alright, like the visual novel games. Blaze and Marine having a fun adventure, Sonic and Blaze having a romantic chat.
Such as those, yes.
Ah, great! So Luke, tell me all about Rush and Blush. Is it sufficiently romantic and cute for your tastes? What about Soul Rush and Misadventure? Was Marine well written?
Oh, screw you, Rog. I bet you loved them.
Nah, it's not really my game genre, but they were alright. Wish they did a little more with the visuals to make it more the character actually into the environment, like Phoenix Wright does with the courtroom scenes and such. But it works for what they're trying to be. It's cute. I was kind of expecting more interactivity, though. Both of them have very few options to choose from. But yeah, it's cute.
Okay, so if we're picking up the Sonic games that have a unique take on the series, there's Sonic Relighted. I wish I had more good things to say about it. It's very ambitious. The creators clearly put a lot of care into making it, but unfortunately I think the very concept is not a good fit for Sonic, as those who have played Sonic 3D Blast are aware. Isometric camera angles and high-speed platforming don't mix well, leading to levels with either lots of open spaces or slowing down Sonic a lot, or in this case, both.
I disagree. I've seen isometric Sonic games work. And particularly, I love Sonic Robo Blast 2's top-down mod, though some enemies and boss fights can be annoying. Anyway, I love the graphics in Sonic Relighted, managing this pixelated retro look with modern light effects that in this case really complement each other. Usually I'm against complex lighting and retro-looking games, but here they kind of pull it off. So yeah, it looks nice, but I got stuck here, and I have no idea where to go. It's a very confusing level design. So I have to agree, I'm not really enjoying this one.
My apologies to the Relighted team, Lois Polly. Hopefully you can iron this out into something great and prove me wrong.
There's a couple RPGs, one based on a TV show, CTM. Really love the sprite work. Great animation, and the writing is very close to the show, and that's very impressive. It has that same weird story structure as the Season 1 episodes did on the show, where the story starts with the Freedom Fighters already some kind of random mission on Robotnik's base and stumbling into the proper plot there. Really different than most other TV shows where the hero start at home or in a safe location at the start and end of each episode. With CTM Season 1 episodes, it can be in danger from the first to the last second of each episode, really giving that show its dark and heavy atmosphere, and this RPG gets that across really well. Also neat they worked in the background music from the show into the game, in Genesis chiptune style. That's interesting since, as far as I know, the original soundtrack was never released outside of a few demo tracks, so this is the closest thing we ever got to getting the actual Sonic CTM tunes. I hope this RPG releases the music separate at some point. So yeah, really neat. Other than that, just decent RPG and like you expect.
Another RPG. Episode 10, apparently. Starts with a Newgrounds logo. Oh, nostalgic. And boy, does it earn that nostalgic Newgrounds feel. It's a straight-up 2003 sprite battle like we saw so many times on Newgrounds.
I gotta say, it kinda works for an RPG to have these over-the-top Dragon Ball Z-style fight animations. They're really well done. Not my type of game, but visually impressive.
Yeah, very dynamic and awesome. High energy, I love it. Makes it feel more intense than if everyone just has that clunky, everyone walks up to each other one by one and hits each other once style of the old RPGs.
It's only a one-battle demo, though, so not much to say about it, but interesting take on the RPG genre.
And speaking of interesting takes on the RPG genre, there's this one, Sonic and the Mayhem Master. Although honestly, I'm not sure why it's a Sonic game, should have been its own original thing. It says it's inspired by the storybook games, but don't expect any of that gameplay represented here. Heck, they don't even do the thing that Sonic sucked into a story he's alien to. In this one, Sonic and Amy are practically different characters that feel natural in the world they're in here, so it's kind of pointless to connect it to Sonic. It's more of a unique Professor Layton rhythm thief kind of game. But yeah, it has a very appealing art style, it looks great, and I always loved the idea of a steampunkish Sonic.
Very involved RPG battles, though. You have to dodge manually, like in the Mario and Luigi series, while also shooting with the mouse. It's tough.
Yeah, very tough. So much I can't even beat the tutorial fight. I really wanted to like this one, but whew. Playing with a keyboard and mouse at the same time is a pain, and the fight goes on forever. What is it with indie RPGs that the fighting systems are always so long and tedious? I had a couple other games I kind of like Saturday Morning Show RPG, where the fights go on forever and has very frustrating minigames. And another game I played, ISK RPG thing, where the fights also go on forever and are super obnoxious with their minigames. Oof, indie RPGs, man. I guess they all want to be like Mario and Luigi, except in the end they all just feel like Sonic Chronicles to me.
And you accuse me of constantly being reminded of other games.
Either way, I wanted to like it, but it has really tedious gameplay. Besides, why aren't there any RPG games that use the beat-em-up game as a fighting system? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and speaking of, we do have some Sonic fighting games. Sonic Team Fighters, for example.
Oh yeah, it looks pretty cool. And very similar to Sonic Ultima. As if the games are siblings. Made in Mugen or something? I'm not sure how that works or how much they actually have to do stuff themselves or how much that's a pre-made program. I mean, I don't really have much to say about 2D fighters. I kind of prefer 3D fighters like Sonic Battle was, more like you can really walk around in the arena. Anyway, one fighting game I did find very interesting was a brawler. Sega Brawler's a Megamix, named after the crossover Saturn fighting game, although sadly missing a playable Hornet car. But here it's a brawler, so you know the type. You walk down the street, have endless enemies to fight, you kick their ass, Streets of Rage, the Golden Axe, etc. But starring about 40 Sega characters. Although since it's a 2D sprite-based, it's mostly the 2D Sega heroes, so don't expect any Skies of Arcadia or Jet Set Radio characters to be represented. Even though Verto Fighter and Knights and Jet Set Radio did have a 2D game, so I'm not sure why they're missing. But anyway, still plenty of characters here.
It is a kick to see Earthworm Jim in a brawler game. It's funny how different in size the characters are, since they're all taken from different games. So you get this tiny little Alex Kidd fighting enormous enemies, a tiny little Knuckles uppercutting his opponents into the sky like he's Obelix. Amusing.
The problem with these brawlers is the gameplay is very simplistic. You're really relying on raw spectacle to keep the player interested, otherwise it's just the same thing over and over again. Hence why most of these beat-em-up games add giant robots shooting lasers or more dynamic levels.
Yeah, that's why games like Double Dragon 2 for the NES is one of my favorite brawlers. You get a normal level, but then you go on a rooftop or in a helicopter kicking people out of the door or a base filled with traps. Dynamic stuff. But yeah, this game doesn't really do that. The sheer amount of playable characters is really the only spectacle part of it. Well, okay, there's one level where you're on a bridge, where you can fall off.
But in games like Smash Brothers, the locations you're in are often very memorable, the big unique locations from Nintendo. Here, you don't really get much of a showcase of Sega's most iconic locations. Most levels are just streets. I mean, first level is Sonic Adventure's City Escape. You'd think they could put a gun truck in there or something to make it a little iconic.
Well, in one of the other modes, you do get a wider variety of locations, including the more unique Rice Star levels, Earth on Jim's wacky planet, even Green Hills.
There's a bit of a balancing problem too. In some levels you can get an endless supply of health items, and in other levels, none. Some characters breeze through the fight, while some are pretty much worthless.
Really a spectacle game, just enjoy the madness. To be fair, there is something cathartic about just beating up endless brainless mooks with a fun looking character. But yeah, it's a bit chaotic, and the story adventure mode kind of misses a sense of a journey, a purpose. It's not like you're really moving through a city or through a journey to reach the final boss. It's just a series of random levels. Shame, but I'm still kind of enjoying myself, so.
Here's one game I wanted to highlight, Sonic Revert.
Whoa, were the people on drugs when they made this?
I resent that. I can create plenty of insanity without requiring drugs.
Revert is very unique and I greatly enjoy it. It takes heavy inspiration from the Trackmania games, which I also enjoy, so I was able to get the mechanics quickly. The level design can be equally as harsh as Trackmania, but that just makes it all the more satisfying when you get the perfect run. Luckily, this game doesn't waste time when you respawn, so you get right back into the action when you die. And if you make a mistake really high in the air, there's even a respawn button to get you back in even faster.
I am impressed how easy and smooth Sonic can run on the walls. Usually physics that let Sonic defy the laws of gravity around the ceilings and walls turn every game into a physics nightmare, but here I can get it working perfectly fine. Although this whole launch yourself jumping mechanic really requires me to rethink how you play a platformer like this. Lucky I had played Rodea the Sky Soldier before this, so I had a little bit of practice, I guess.
Aw, look at that low polygon shadow. That's adorable. Rarely get to see him done in early 3D style.
That's right, there's a handful of playable characters. Sure, they all control the same, but it's always nice to have the option regardless. Isn't that right, Sonic Team?
There's even a story. Didn't expect that. Reminds me of the Sonic Advance intros. Eggman has a machine, it overloads, the entire planet explodes. Boy, I wonder what that ice cream seller from Unleashed has to say about this.
He'll be fine with drifting aimlessly in space on a chunk of rock with the rest of his planet obliterated. Just as long as there's no dark chaos around.
Oh, it would've been awesome if Dark Gaia was released after that explosion. But alas. Funny how the pieces of Earth debris all look like Green Hill Zone platforms, as if the explosion turned the entire planet into Green Hill Zone, as well as exploding it.
The entire Earth turned into Green Hill Zone? Oh, the humanity! The indescribable terror!
Speaking of terror, there's also Sonic horror games this year.
Pfft, really? As if anything can be more horrifying than Sega's regular Sonic games.
Yeah, there seems to be a Five Nights at Freddy's sort of game.
I haven't tried it, not really my cup of tea.
Well, what about this one? Shadow's Ladder, an atmospheric horror game starring everyone's favorite hedgehog.
What? Oh, I've got to see this. Shadow's Ladder? What, based on Jacob's Ladder? The psychological horror movie about a guy coming to terms of death after a traumatic experience in the Vietnam War? That's just perfect, isn't it? Let's play it.
Surprisingly plays it straight and doesn't really rely on cheap jump scares or even gore or sarcastic humor.
It seems to use Sonic's gameplay as a horror element. Shadow's asleep at the start while underwater, and you start hearing the countdown. Come on, get up, you moron!
So it plays like a Sonic game, except a bit more open-ended. You have to explore and find rooms and items to continue. Fortunately, it's not too maze-like at first, anyway. So you should be able to find your way around, as long as you know you can enter doors and open chests. Took me a while to figure that out.
You call this horror? Barely anything scary happens. Music is a bit unsettling and the colours muted, but that's it. A creepy demonic voice comes in, basically says Shadow needs to take a nap. Oh great, it's his mum calling him. No mum, I don't need to nap. I'm Shadow the Bloomin' Hedgehog. Oh, horror of horrors.
Oh hey, you got a gun. Didn't expect that to show up.
Oh sweet, I get to shoot people. Well, robots. There's no humans so far. Stupid gun doesn't seem to be very effective though.
I think you can only shoot the stalactites in a cave, not the robots.
The only thing I can shoot are rocks? Oh boo, what kind of horror game is this? All I can kill are rocks? Take that, rocks.
And hey, a creepy message on the wall, a horror game staple. Except it breaks the fourth wall and asks the viewer whether they think this game is too dark for them.
No, it's not dark and scary enough. I have a gun. I want to see blood and guts. I want to see more. Huh, boat. Oh, hey, I beat the game.
That's a bad ending. I guess you have to tell the game it's too scary in order to actually continue.
Too scary? Oh yeah, boo-hoo, poor rocks. I killed them all. I feel so bad. It's too dark and edgy for me to handle. I'm really upset.
There we go. Now the game goes on. So as you go deeper, you'll notice the puzzles start increasing in number.
Whatever, I breeze through these puzzles. Oh, the demonic voice again. Is he mentioning a phone number now? How scary. Don't tell me I need to remember that number.
There we go.
Out of my way! Wait, where do I go? Damn it, where do I go? Ah!
No, wrong door! Go back!
Oh my god! What killed me? Oh, Mommy!
Luke, come back down. Don't be scared. It's me, your good friend, Captain Theory.
Ah! No! Stay back!
Bad response.
Well, I guess that's enough for spin-off games for now. We'll wait till Luke calms down. Then it's time to look at the big main games of Sage 2020.
Yeah, but next time, I think I'd rather talk about more broad themes rather than highlight each game one by one, or become such a grocery list kind of video like this one.
Sure. Ooh, do I get to sign off this time? See you next time, friends!